You learn very quickly that if you value somebody right up front, tell them that they're made in the image of God and that you want to hear their story. Like I said, it's a game changer and it is so helpful in sharing your faith.
Welcome, everybody, to today's show. We're really excited about the individual, the guest that we have here today, and the topic that we'd like to bring to you. If you haven't subscribed or liked this show just yet, please go ahead and do that right now. It's a simple click of a button. You let us know that you're enjoying the content. So I'd like to introduce my guest today. Her name is Robin Keating, and she was a volunteer with us and is now actually on our staff. So I want to welcome Robin. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thanks for having me.
Tell us a little bit about yourself. What brought you to Love Inc.?
Well, I attend New Life Church in West Lynn, and this last 8 or 9 months, I've been having different people come up to me at my church saying, you should check out Love Inc. And the reason why they're asking me that or telling me that is because I've kind of been on a journey of how to connect the local church and people. I was growing interest in people that were isolated, staying home, didn't have community. And I've just always loved the local church. And it kind of breaks my heart that people are missing out on what you can find in the local church through the love of Christ being shown to you. And it's just always been a great place for me. So I want that for others. And so when I started sharing those kinds of thoughts, I had 2 or 3 people from New Life come up to me and say, have you checked out Love in the Name of Christ? You got to go over there and check it out. So I did, and I'm very glad that I did.
And how long ago was that?
Oh, let's see. I think I started in July
Okay.
volunteering, and I think it was the second week maybe that I was here that I almost had tears in my eyes because I was so glad that I had found Love Inc.
Mm.
And I think what was happening to me was I was looking for a place that not only I could share my faith, but I just desperately wanted to pray with people. That's one of my favorite things that I like to do. And Love Inc. was a place I could do it. And when I started finding out that I was going to be able to do that on a regular basis, that just filled my heart. I was so glad to be able to do that. And the more I learned about how to talk to people on the phone, the more I just began to grow and apply that in my life in general.
You started as a volunteer and now you're on staff. So you've had this transition period where you heard about Love Inc., then you volunteered for Love Inc., and now you're on staff at Love Inc. Can you kind of share in maybe from your heart and in your mind, like how that process kind of worked on your side?
Well, the thing that I think that I saw consistently going through it was the consistency of training, prayer, revisiting, vision casting, and then repeat. And so I really enjoyed that because it gave me confidence, and I knew that I was being trusted, that the Holy Spirit was going to guide me, and that was okay. And but the opportunity to be able to talk with people and work with people and just hear their stories, where they're at, and learn how to love them right where they're at, and that was enough. And that, I think that's what hit me the most. I was really surprised when I talked to people that their story, just listening to their story, was many times what people were really looking for. They may call for a need that they felt they had, a materialistic need, but as soon as we start talking and we go through what Love Inc. is really here for, the conversation shifts.
when you had come in and you've gone through, I think the our Healthy Helping, and you've gone through some of our other courses that we have here as well, that when you came in, you started volunteering. Like for us, it was a breath of fresh air. Here's somebody who is excited about their community, loves the church, and is ready to engage and ready to get going. Those three things don't always come together in every person. And for me, I think the exciting part as the community engagement coordinator is that we have our clients that we are working with, and we have our churches partnerships that we're working with. And really your position, and I'll have you can share a little bit more as well into our topic, is our goal is really to bring those two together. How does that kind of work with your own heart and your passion um, with the church and your community?
Well, I see in the church wonderful people that want to help. They are waiting for ways, how can I get involved? How can I help people in a way that's long lasting, that's transformative, that's going to last? And instead of a lot of the role models that we have of maybe a short-term help, and those are needed too, but to be able to go a little further than that, that was very appealing to me. And when I saw the philosophy of redeeming compassion, uh, I I thought this is something that the church is gonna love, enjoy being a part of. When I would talk to people, how if I made them comfortable from the very beginning and slowed down just a little bit, the urgency was lost. And I'm there talking one on one with someone who is kind of surprised that someone's taking the time to listen to them. I think we live in a just a urgent society. And so it's really taught me to slow down, and the benefits to that slowing down and spending the time with a person has really been beneficial, not only for them, I hope, but also for myself. It's really helped me a lot to go a little deeper.
What were some of the strengths and weaknesses that you saw maybe within the church and how they engaged our community as they are right now?
I think what I noticed was people are looking for a way, a philosophy, something to guide them, something to help them know if I've gone a little too far or if I need to do a little bit more, to give them that confidence to step out of their comfort zone a little bit, something that's been kind of tried and true. And that's what I saw. Their philosophy here is something that the church could use as a tool, and would not have to just kind of do hit and miss, but something that's been tried and true, and that is beneficial to bringing transformation to someone's life.
You are representing that church and not just Love Inc. You might be answering the phone. This is Robin with Love Inc. But you really are representing your church.
Right. I think what happens for me is I'm getting to represent New Life through a model or a philosophy of Love Inc. And it helps me, for lack of a better word, keeps me from rabbit trailing. And in my conversations, it helps me stick to four main things. You can call it the wagon wheel principle. But when I'm thinking, oh, how am I going to touch this person relationally? Ask some relational questions. Ask some emotional questions, how they are, where the stress level of their life is, or their hope level, or ask the person spiritually where they are. What do they think about God, and those types of things. It helps me keep coming back to the same things, the same topics, and I think it just guides my conversation well.
What is the response, a lot of ways, from our clients?
I've had almost all positive responses, which surprised me when I first started learning to just be upfront what we're really about. And then right after you tell them what Love Inc. is, uh, as far as the types of services you provide, and talk about them as a whole person, we want to help them holistically and not just think of them as their things, that we see them. It has been amazing to me how much people open up. We make it really clear that they're the focus and not their needs. We don't identify them as what their needs are. It's been a real game changer in my mind.
And I wonder what your thoughts are, the benefit to the church if they were to, in a sense, what we would say, send volunteers in.
Right. So to me, you would be coming from your church and you'd get practice time here.
Mm.
Not only that would benefit people that you're talking to, but it's going to benefit your church with your with people going into the community, whether it's at the grocery store. I know for me, I have a little bunco game story. I'm not the kind of person that just goes up and introduces myself, but because I've been practicing on the phone here at Love Inc., I found myself naturally going up to people that I didn't know and saying, "Hey, I'm Robin, and how come you're here? What brought you here today?" And it didn't dawn on me till after it happened, and I had actually got into a conversation with someone about Christ just because I introduced myself in that way. And I was just amazed that that's all it took. But I became more comfortable, and that's, I think, a huge plus for any church when people can become more comfortable sharing their faith no matter where they are.
That's a great, great story. I think, and I love hearing that practicing it in the Loving model gave you, in a sense, I'll just say the word courage, and I think that's the big part that I think that a lot of people are missing with understanding what Loving is. We're not just meeting the physical and material needs of our community, but we're also equipping and training individuals to share the gospel. In the word that we would use in the Bible is we're making disciples.
It never becomes old because every person that you talk to has got a different story and something that you, at first you think, "Oh, how am I going to do this? Because I don't know what they're going to ask me." But you learn very quickly that if you value somebody right up front, tell them that they're made in the image of God and that you want to hear their story. Like I said, it's a game changer and it is so helpful in sharing your faith.
So I think when we talk about church engagement, it's one of those things that just happens naturally as you process through the model of loving. We're really trying to help the church be mobilized in their own community, not just Clackamas County wide, but let's put a 1 mile radius around the church and say, let's get working.
How would you know about a need in your community? Unless somebody brings it to your attention. We have people calling us in need, and we know churches that would love to know about their situation, love to love on them and bring them into the kingdom of God. And so to me, it's just a perfect fit. It's a little bridge back and forth to work with each other.
So when we talk about the clients and working with them, then we talk about the church and working with them. We call that our Healthy Together program that we're assembling. Is there something in your mind as far as like what a community engagement coordinator's like role would do to kind of connect those two pieces?
I think part of it is educating both sides, but with the church, again, educating them with this philosophy of how to engage with those in need. What does it look like? And give you some scenarios to learn that we can slow down a little bit and get to know the person. And I think those opportunities to practice in these classes, to go through different scenarios in your mind of how would you approach a certain situation, it's again a good way to practice. And that education helps the church then take that and engage with people, whether it's through Love Inc., like you said, or it's just the grocery store, or it's at work, or it's at school.
What would be in your mind a perfect scenario between church and our clients to be able to come together?
In my mind, being included, being incorporated into the life of the church.
Yeah.
They don't have that. They don't
Yeah.
have that community. For some people, it's going to be a brand new thing. Community is, or they're leaving a community that they need to leave behind, and they need a healthy model of a community. So it just bringing them together in ways to engage daily life.
What is the benefit for the church to have someone who is maybe lower income or in poverty or the working poor attend their church?
I think you'll learn contentment, and many times you'll see some contentment in someone that you would be surprised. I think that when you bring someone into your community, you'll see some new ways maybe that you can help that person that maybe you took for granted. I think we underestimate what we have. I think we underestimate what we have to give to others, things that are normal daily life things of support or friendships or how we go through a difficult circumstance. That's could be possibly new to the person that you're reaching out to that's coming to, and so for you to be able to model that in front of them, and even when it doesn't go so easy, just to know that the humanness of it, and that we have a gracious God that is there for both of us.
The value that someone else brings to the church, if they're a person in poverty or everything, is that it allows us to really touch the ground. Like there's a space of like recognizing that these are those that Jesus died for. But I think in that space of humility, I think that we could easily, as the church, become isolated from those who are in need. And we can be isolated from those on the outside of the building. Jesus says in one of the scripture passages, he says that it's easy to love someone who loves you back. It's difficult to love the person who hates you. And I think for the church, that's a good thing to learn how to love those who are outside of the church. And we get to practice that here every day, don't we?
Yes, yes, you do.
Yeah. If there's one thing you'd like to share, whether it be on this topic or just from your heart as for the church and community and church engagement, what would be something you'd like to share?
What I would want to leave with the church is love the whole person. Remind people that they are valued by God. I think of also that the church, you're here for such a time as this. That keeps crossing my mind too. Is like it's not an accident when you run into someone that's in poverty. That's a what I would call a God appointment. So I would say to make sure that you are finding ways to reach people, and it's going to grow you. It's not going to just be about helping someone else. It's also going to help you grow in your walk with Christ as well.
Well, again, thank you so much for being here today, and so appreciate you on staff, of course, and then just what you bring to the Love Inc. of Clackamas County, and it's just a joy to have you here. So thank you so much, and we look forward to having more of these conversations with you as well, and long into the future. So. Be
Thanks.
good. Anybody else who would like to find out more about what it is that we do here, obviously visit our website at www.clackamasloveinc.org. You can reach out to us in various different ways from the website. I'd also like to invite you guys to subscribe and to make comments in the sections below so that we can refine and continue to grow this channel to bring more content that would be of value to you. If you have any other questions, please leave those down there and we'll be sure to answer them as well. But for now, thank you so much for joining us. God bless.